Aleppo in Syria has been a war zone for the last 4 years, subjected to one siege after another, each increasing the toll of hardship for those who live there. And there are still 2 million people doing just that. How is it possible to continue with daily life in those conditions? During the Bosnian War in the 1990s, Sarajevo was under siege and bombardment for 3.5 years. The playwright Haris Pasovic lived through that time, and he's been speaking to us about what a siege is like for the civilians of a city.
It is not possible to describe it because the war is everything different than ordinary life. It is a great suffering. People who are trapped in the siege, they are deprived of all basic human needs, including food and water, and that's something which shouldn't happen to anyone anywhere.
And was it possible to think beyond those basic needs, food, water, safety?
Of course, because something that happened before during the Warsaw Ghetto or during the siege of Leningrad, that people tried to continue their daily activities in whatever way they could in order to survive, not only physically but also mentally, to maintain sanity, to maintain their feeling of human dignity. That involved culture, which was a really big phenomenon during the siege of Sarajevo.
What did that mean to you? What did you try and do to take your mind to a different place?
I was director of an international theater and film festival, and we staged the theater plays, we organized the exhibitions, and we organized the first Sarajevo Film Festival. It was during the siege.
This film tells us about traveling and about dreams. And it means about freedom. And this festival in Sarajevo tells us that freedom exists even beyond the end of the world. Thank you very much. Enjoy the film.
Were people able to come to a performance and forget what they were living through?
Actually, it was quite a specific phenomenon because people risked their lives to come to see theater play or a film or to listen to the concert. They used to go, because there was no public transportation, so they used to go on foot, even 10 miles, risking their lives literally to arrive to the venue to see a theater play. That was very profound. That was something that told us that human nature is not only about food and water. Human nature is much more complex than that.
What was the hardest time in that period?
Everything was the hardest time, because every morning when you part from your family, you don't know whether you will meet your family alive or in one piece when you come back home. Your friends were dying on a daily basis. So it's not so much the lack of these basic needs, that you somehow get away with the fact that there is no enough food or whatever. We lost, kilos and kilos. All of us looked like prisoners of a concentration camp. But the hardest thing was to know that the rest of the world was watching on a daily basis our suffering, and that it allowed that to happen.
Do you feel that again when you look at what's happening at Aleppo, although in comparison we have very little reporting of what it's like in Aleppo at the moment?
I'm devastated, by this situation, because I can imagine how it is for the people. And it is frightening that actually this is the first war that journalists gave up on it. I can prove that journalists liberated Bosnia. International journalists were reporting on a daily basis, including BBC journalists, including Alan Little, who was there sharing, the fate and risking his own life, or Martin Bell.
In the 2 days since the United Nations withdrew from the airport, the city has been under almost constant bombardment. The firing has gone both ways since it is not defenseless. But we have watched as the Serbs, in effect, walked their mortar fire across Sarajevo and onto the old town.
What would you say to a young person living in Aleppo right now if you were able to speak to them?
I would give them a hug. They need to feel that we are compassionate, and to remain their human dignity is the most important thing of all.
You haven't used the word hope. You have not said I would give them hope.
Because it would be very hypocritical. How can we give them hope? To give them a hope would be to lie them, and I don't want to lie them.
Haris Pasovic, thank you.